If you love astrology, human design, gene keys, any of these types of modalities, then you are going to love what I'm about to share about. There is another ancient occult modality that is quite literally hidden in plain sight, but very few people are talking about it. It is called Cards of Destiny, and once I tell you about this, you are never going to look at a deck of cards the same again. So, what is Cards of Destiny? Cards of Destiny is a beautiful and complex modality and system based on the 52 cards in the playing deck. So, everyone based on their birthday has a birth card. I'm a Seven of Clubs. And each of these cards is its own unique energetic signature that has a chart of lifelong influences that's going to tell us a little bit about that particular archetype and where do we hold strengths, what are some of our greatest challenges in life, what are circumstances and situations that may arise in our life that are here to push us to our edge, to encourage us into our soul's greatest evolution. So for example, my Seven of Clubs, it has all of these other influences within it, this life chart. So my Seven of Clubs has a also a moon, a Mercury, a Venus, a Mars, all the way out to two outer planets beyond Pluto and karmic influences. So right there, you can see I've got all of these different cards that are giving me information about myself, about my inner architecture. It's a really powerful tool for self reflection. That's why I brought up astrology and gene keys and human design, because really at the heart, all of these different modalities are different systems and ways to understand ourselves better, to get a glimpse into our subconscious patternings and like what's going on behind the scenes in our inner workings so that we can learn how to um, alchemize what's there to be alchemized, how we can improve, how we can show up better in our lives. And so the cards of destiny are another lens. One of the things I love about the cards is just the framework of the 52 cards and these unique energetic signatures. Something that I feel differentiates it from some of the other systems. I'll use astrology as an example because it's probably the most well known. And so if you know nothing about astrology and I tell you that person has a Venus in Virgo, it's like, that doesn't mean anything to you. It's like gibberish. But if I tell you that person's a Queen of Hearts and that person's a Queen of Spades, immediately, because these cards are already embedded in your subconscious and we already have association and familiarity with the symbolism, immediately you have a little bit of flavor of what the difference between a Queen of Hearts and a Queen of Spades is. And you'd be right. You'd be right. The Queen of Hearts is this more of like a mother archetype. It's very loving and nurturing, and romance and beauty are all parts of the archetype of the Queen of Hearts. Where the Queen of Spades, she's very diligent. She's a hard worker. The spade, one of the things it represents is labor, and so she has a certain like edge and grit and resilience to her. So, anyways, that's just an example. And I myself am a Queen of Spades. This is one of my core cards. And so, understanding our birth card and our other core cards helps us to understand more about the self. And it goes deeper. There's like layers and layers and layers and layers to this. Starting out with understanding your core cards is a great place to start. But in addition to your lifelong influences, we also have cyclical influences. So every year on your birthday, you're going to get a whole new set of cards. So I have a yearly Pluto and Saturn and a whole chart of cards. And then every 7 years, we also get a whole new chart of cards. Every 7 weeks, every week. It's a fractalized system, so you can really zoom in and out, and at any given moment have hundreds of cards that are influencing you that will give you information about what's going on in your life. So Oftentimes, I get the question, or people think that what I do when I'm doing cards of destiny readings is akin to tarot readings. But this is where it differentiates, because in tarot, you are getting like a subjective energy read of the current moment. So you're pulling a card. You're asking a question and you're pulling a card, and then you're doing a read in the moment of what comes through. With the cards, all of these influences are predestined. So it's like this map of your life. And if you know astrology, this can help understand the modality. It's a totally different modality than astrology. There are planets and planetary influences, but there's yeah, it's just like it's two separate modalities. But the commonality is that, for example, in astrology, most people are introduced to astrology by learning their sun sign. I'm a Libra, so most people know like what their sun zodiac sign is. And then if you are interested, you go a little bit deeper and you find out like, oh, you don't just have a sun, you have a sun, a sun, a moon, and a rising. And then if you go a little deeper, you find out, oh, I have a whole natal chart. And so it's the same with cards of destiny, right? It's like, okay, you learn your birth card and then you find out, oh, actually, I have a few core cards. And then you're like, oh, each of these core cards has a chart. And you start to get deeper and deeper. And then when you learn about the cycles and the predictive nature of the modality as well, that would be like in astrology, if you go deep enough to start to learn transits and how the movement of the current planets are impacting you now. That would be the relation point in cards of destiny with these cyclical influences. So it's really like getting this map, or what I like to say, it's like getting the weather report of your life, which I think is really important, because one of the pieces of feedback I get the most, especially when I'm doing readings at events, I usually have at least one person that comes over and they're like, cards of destiny, I don't know if I want to know my destiny, like, and they get a little freaked out about maybe like the deterministic factor of it, or like feels deterministic. But cards of destiny, like any of these modalities, I feel if it's not empowering you, if the information isn't being used to empower you, then it's being used wrong. None of this is deterministic. It is true that it's all predestined influences, but this is why I like to say it's like the weather report of your life. So what I'm looking at when I'm looking into the cards is I'm seeing what energies are present in this current moment. And that empowers us to ride the wave, or grab an umbrella, or, take some action that's going to help us to utilize the energies well. And so we still have sovereignty in how we're responding to the energetics. And I found that having the information and the insight of these different, both lifelong and cyclical influences, has given me a lot of peace and has aided me in bringing greater harmony to my relationships. It's helped me to make decisions on timing. It's given me just some relief sometimes too when I'm grappling with something and I can see in the cards like, oh yeah, this is coming up right now, and I can see the date where the energies are going to change. So even though I'm still in it and in this moment, it's like a relief to know, okay, this is what is here for me right now. And it allows me to, rather than like bypassing it, or wanting to bypass it, because when we're in a sticky moment, it always feels like it's going to be forever. But giving me some relief of like, okay, it's this window of time where this is really coming up as a challenge, then I feel like it gives me a level of resilience to like meet that moment and meet that energetic, because I know it's not forever. I'm like, okay, I'm really getting an opportunity here to like, face this dragon. So that's an example of one way to utilize the system. Some of the other things that the cards can reveal, or what they unveil, well, I already mentioned it's like the core essence of the self, giving us this vision into the unique inner architecture of the soul, and just getting to understand yourself and others and people around you on a deeper level. And then timing. So I alluded to this a little bit, but it's so powerful for timing, and you can use it to like select a good date to launch a business, or a good date to launch, a new product, or picking wedding dates is like a fun way to use the cards. And also understanding timing in the sense of like seasons. Like, is this a season for love, or is this a season for money? That's many of my readings, I feel like, end up in some way being like that at the base of just like the relief of knowing. Sometimes we're torn where it's like you can feel like it's a season for building, but there's a part of you that's like, should I like be focusing on love? Am I always going to be single if I don't prioritize that? And we can really see in the cards, sometimes there are seasons where it's like, hey, like career is taking the forefront right now, and this is the moment to like show up in your creation and drive and push. And then there's other moments where it's like, hey, you may want to be building and creating, and like for this year, actually relationship and emotional world is showing up and asking you to take a look at it, and face maybe some shadows that are ready to be alchemized. And hey, I can look like 1 to 2 years ahead. There's going to be a big boost in your career, and actually this is setting you up for that. So these are just some examples of how we can go to the cards for timing to understand when, or how to really like utilize the energy well, is the best way to put it. It's like, what's online for me right now? What is coming in the near future, so I can strategize my time and my energy and make sure that where I'm focusing my attention is going to give me the best bang for my buck. Like both on a soul level, like soul evolutionary level, and also, in a material world and relational world as well. Like I've had moments before where I'm like really desiring more for myself, desiring more money, desiring more love. And I look to the cards, and again, I can see like, oh, okay, like I'm in a moment right now where that's not a priority, but in the fall, there's going to be a little influx of that kind of energy. So I'm like, okay, give myself some rest, relaxation. Actually, right now, I'm supposed to be focusing on health. Like, so let me just be present with what is, focus on health. And then when I get to that season, I'll be ready for it. I'll be vibrant, et cetera, et cetera. And the final piece, which is really like the most exciting to me in some ways, and actually why I got into the cards, was the deep, deep, deep potential of relationship analysis. Oh my goodness. The relationship analysis of the cards of destiny is like nothing I've ever found. It is so profound and it is so accurate. I'm just like blown away. I've been doing readings now for 6 years, 6 years, and still to this day I'm blown away by the accuracy. When you know two people's core cards, you can put them together and you can see the planetary and karmic influences from each side of the relationship. So relationships can be experienced different, like how I experience you is different how you experience me, and we can see the energetics of that in the cards. And you can see the presence and nature of past life connection, meaning we can actually call out and identify, yes, there are past life influences here. And it can get as specific as this person was very likely a father to you in a past life, or you very likely were married, or there's some karma here related to power and passion, or unresolved passions. And anyways, I could go on and on. I'll probably do a whole video on just the relationship part of Cards of Destiny, but it is super powerful, super enlightening, and for me, it really has given me just so much insight into myself and my relationships. And like I said, I got into Cards of Destiny when I first discovered it. I was fascinated by the relationship analysis. And in studying it, it was really supporting me in finding the path to greater harmony within the romantic relationship that I was in at that time. And I decided to start to, like, how about you guys? Can I read for you? Can I read for you? And as I started to share with my friends and seeing the positive impact that it was having on them and their relationships, and then I felt really inspired after self studying for several years. I took a 10-month Magi certification training, dove super deep, and got to learn all of the ins and outs of this beautiful modality. And throughout all of that, have been offering readings at events, one-on-one readings, couples, and just, yeah, really getting to see the power and the impact of attuning people to their unique energetic signature. And oftentimes it's really as simple as giving people a permission slip to be fully themselves. Like giving people the lens and the awareness of these archetypes and affirming them that, hey, these things you know about yourself to be true, they are true and they should be celebrated, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. And also looking at relationships and saying, hey, look, this is what's happening on a soul level. And here's some tips and advice for how to work with the powerful energies that are flowing between you. So, anyways, I've been geeking out about Cards of Destiny for quite some time. Anyone that knows me knows I'm card obsessed. And if you are getting interested and you want to check out your birth card, I'm gonna link a chart down below where you can look at your birthday and get started by finding out what your birth card is. And if you want to go deeper, I do 90-minute deep dive sessions where we get to really explore your archetype and also can answer any questions you have about what's coming up for you in this season of life. So I'll also put a link below to book. Thank you so much. I'm Karen Fahey Magi. Please like, follow, subscribe, leave comments. Let me know that you love this. Encourage me to keep doing it. I definitely have a praise kink. I love I was like, am I really gonna say that? I have a praise kink. Praise me. It'll make me feel good and make me want to do more of these videos. I'm just getting started. I've been studying the cards for a long time, like I said, and doing these readings, and I've been wanting to share for so long, and I'm so elated that now is the time. So thank you for being here with me on the journey, and I will see you next time.